So here's a big game of how some of the ideas are structured, where we talk about the idea of hell being hell, if you believe in it. The judge plays a big role as adversary. And what the judge likes to do is compare us or compare you to somebody else. Oh, they're better than me, as if that's of any significance at all or important and worth believing in. Or they're less than me, and now I feel important and better because I'm a winner or better than them, right? See, it doesn't really care what version you believe, and it's happy to have you believe both and then have an argument in your head. That'll keep you busy. Well, I'm better than them. I'm not better than them. I'm worse than them. Oh, I'm less than them. I have to really work hard to be better than them. Oh, then you get some awareness. You're like, oh, I'm comparing myself to them. I shouldn't be doing that. I'm failing. I'm failing to do my practices, and I'm not journaling enough, and I really need to get a hold of my mind. I'm failing. I'm not good enough. And it gets you to believe that. And then you have a breakthrough. It's like, oh, I made it. I got this down. I'm going to be a teacher of this. So great. And you really believe that idea. It's like, great, believe you're the best at this. Puts lots of faith into that story. Adversary has you. It's just like, oh, you made it, right? Or that you're failing and you're not doing enough work, or that you're not journaling enough, or you didn't catch that victim story very quickly and you're failing and you should just quit. It's got you in that story. And if you put lots of faith in it, the adversary is like celebrating how much it has you, because it has your attention, it has your faith. Comparison. And the comparison game is turtles, man. This can go on and on. Oh, they're as bad as Hitler. Let's judge somebody. Let's relate them to Nazis and Hitler, right? And of course, if we do that, we put faith in the story about them or about ourselves. Oh my God, I'm as bad as Hitler, right? He's not the current day bad guy. But in the realm of bad and good, we can always find somebody better. You know, it's like, well, I'm not as bad as Hitler. I would just like a Nazi soldier. The Nazi soldier is like, well, I'm not as bad as Hitler. I'm good. But you don't want to be like a Nazi soldier. That's bad. Well, I don't want to, I'm not with that army. I'm with another army. I'm good. I'm with the good army. I'm better. Oh, but I'm bad because I'm still in an army and my job is to kill and hurt people. I'm bad. Let's compare ourselves that way. So that's the story we tell. I'm a good soldier, I'm a bad soldier. But then you're like, no, I give up the soldiering, I give up the killing people. I'm better now. That was being bad, willing to do that. Human being. But now let's compare ourselves. Oh, but there's human beings that are more compassionate than me. They've forgiven people who are in the army, and I still hold a grudge against people who are in the military. Oh, they're better than me. We feel less than. Oh, I've forgiven the people in the army. We elevate ourselves. And I'm better than them. People have it. I'm not carrying around that story anymore, right? Oh, but all the world's suffering. I'm not as good as people who have compassion for everybody in the world. I'm less than them. Oh, I've done a lot of spiritual work. Now I have compassion for all humanity. Oh, I'm better than the people who haven't forgiven the army people and killed people and haven't forgiven Hitler. And Hitler is like, I'm better than that. Do you see the way the adversary structures and layers comparison? That you could always believe that you're better than somebody or less than somebody. And as long as you're believing in that image of yourself, you're believing a ghost story. You're in some illusion, an idea of yourself, and not in the truth. Oh, and then I think Christ comes along and says, I'm not playing your game, and shows people, don't believe stories. Christ comes along and he's like, oh, you're a Jew, you're a Gentile. Oh, let's break bread together. Oh, you're a leper, come sit with me. You're a prostitute. I love you. Come sit with me. Let's be friends. He says, I'm not doing any of the comparison stories about who's good enough and who's not good. Let's love each other and treat each other equally. No stories. Well, adversary wasn't happy about somebody upsetting the game, showing how to win, how to get free. I should say win, how to get free of the game. A game that you can only win by getting free is by not playing comparison, believing in ideas, particularly ideas of judgment, good enough, not good enough. It's the only way to win is to get free, and the way to get free is don't play. So Christ really upset the game. So it took a while in the long run history. But the adversary, wove in a story later that like, oh, there was Christ. Let's change what he was teaching into my version of the story, which is, yeah, you should be perfect, be like Christ. Don't just be compassionate for all humanity. Be perfect, be like Christ. And oh, by the way, you can never be like Christ. You can never be good enough. So you're always feeling not good enough because there was this guy, Christ, who was better than you. And that is the pervasive Christian teaching, is how he infected truth, teaching of truth, with a lot of ideas that aren't truth, and kept people in his game. He made it into being idolatry or hero, an image of perfection story that your judge could work on, as opposed to this is how to live and practice. So a very clever adversary to rework the game, even if it would take him a couple hundred years at a time to reshape what it looks like and get people all over here on this track telling this kind of idea about his teachings. So that's how he layers a story and then changes it over time to distract you. So you have to be more clever, more ruthless, and seeing what are just ideas versus what's the truth. This is the challenge the adversary is continually proposing to you every day. You've done enough. Oh, just rest. Oh, you've done enough. Just, you don't need to do anymore. Oh, you haven't done enough. Yeah, how easy is that one? idea of hell after you die. Idea. Idea the idea that there's a Satan and he's trying to possess you. Scary idea, put you into fear. Believe it, he wins. Yes, there are ideas. They do exist. That's part of the trickery. He's hidden. And some ideas have truth in them. And some have part truth and part lie in them. That's where you have to be very aware and discerning about what you're doing with your faith, what you accept as an idea that's truthful, or put your faith in. Because your freedom, your happiness, awakening to the divine in God is at stake. Your consciousness, awareness, and happiness is at stake. So that is the game that the adversary is playing. All the time, every day. And he has many names. And he does exist as much as a dream exists, as much as lies exist, as much as ideas that people believe in exist. If fear and lies exist, then yes, Lucifer exists. Lies exist as stories, false ideas, but only really are felt as real if they're believed by the person believing them. By a person who doesn't believe them, they don't exist. They don't seem real anyway, they're just made up, non-existent things, concepts. So that's the lay of the land of the adversary, also known as Lucifer and Satan and various other names. Maya and Mara and the dream of the planet and the collective unconscious, or your unconscious mind, or your ego mind. And that is my structure of how I orient to see the game it's playing. And it is, she is, he is, a worthy adversary. Take it seriously.